We scroll, we laugh, we like, and then we scroll again. But somewhere in between the memes, the TikToks, and the inside jokes, there's a generation slowly slipping away from reality. This isn't judgment, this is observation. This is Gen Z versus reality. Gen Z grew up in chaos. 9th of 11 recessions, lockdowns, climate crisis, mass shootings, student debt, mental health collapse. And now, more economic uncertainty. They inherited problems they didn't create, and yet somehow, they're expected to fix them. The real world feels unstable, unwelcoming, and most of all, unrewarding. Previous generations chased careers, homes, and pensions. Gen Z, they're chasing emotional survival. So, when the real world feels like a collapsing building, you look for a fire escape. For Gen Z, that escape is the internet. But the internet isn't just a tool anymore. It's a home, an identity, a lifeline. It's where Gen Z feels heard, seen, and ironically, most real. In a Discord server, they can speak freely. On TikTok, they can be vulnerable. In group chats, they find chosen family when the real one failed. The internet offers more than entertainment. It offers community, comfort, control. Because in the real world, they feel powerless. Online, they're creators, moderators, influencers. They shape the narrative. This isn't about hiding from reality. It's about building a better one. One where humor, chaos, and truth coexist. Where your value isn't tied to a job title or degree. Where you can laugh at everything because otherwise, you'd cry. To outsiders, it looks like apathy. Gen Z makes jokes about war, climate doom, and mental illness. But this isn't apathy. It's a coping mechanism. When the world feels out of control, making it a meme gives you some control back. When you turn pain into a punchline, it doesn't hurt as much. Memes are Gen Z's therapy sessions disguised as jokes, a cry for help that's just cryptic enough to be overlooked. It's not that they don't care, it's that caring all the time would break them. Here's the catch. The more time you spend online, the more awkward real life becomes. Real people talk slower. Real conversations have silences. Real emotions take time to process. And you can't edit your words in real life. The instant dopamine from likes, loops, and messages has rewired expectations. Why sit in an uncomfortable conversation when your phone offers validation in 2 taps? So, Gen Z pulls further away from reality because reality can't keep up. And yet, the more they escape, the more disconnected they feel. It's a cycle. Retreat online to feel better, then feel worse in real life, then retreat again. But what happens when they collide with real-world institutions? With jobs expecting traditional professionalism? With schools punishing neurodivergence? With older generations who don't get irony, memes, or indirect communication? They get labeled too sensitive, too lazy, too online. But maybe they're none of those things. Maybe they're adapting to a system that never adapted to them. They're not escaping reality. They're surviving it by reshaping it. Maybe the internet is an escape, or maybe it's a mirror. One that reflects the chaos of the world they were handed. A world that tells them to be hopeful while showing them headlines filled with dread. A world that constantly says, "You'll fix this," while giving them no tools to do so. And so, they scroll, they post, they joke, they connect, and they carry on. Not because they're numb, but because this is what survival looks like in 2025. They didn't break the system. They just found better Wi-Fi. And maybe, in a world built on disconnect, that's the closest thing we have to connection.